All right. This gentleman here, his name is Eric Moore.
Can we just get to it?
No! This is the carpenter.
No.
He's also the planner.
Yeah, I can do the planning, yeah.
And what else?
Tell him about me planning.
What else?
I like to plan. Tell him, be real. You're big.
She likes to plan. No, she doesn't like to plan, but she started to plan, which is good, and I need to give her credit for that. Good job.
Yeah. And this is my husband.
I'll take that credit.
So, this is Eric Moore, and he will be teaching us how to build a raised bed.
All right, how's everybody doing today?
Great.
Okay, so building a raised bed. I've been doing this a few times. Millie's done this class, and I thought I would try to do something a little differently because you guys are just starting out, or some of you guys have been growing for a while. What gardening's all about is catering to your wants and needs and desires. So I'll show you how to build a box out of simple wood, but I also want to talk about other things like what can you do as far as a quick or some sort of a recycled kind of a box. You don't always have to build one. For instance, if you found this and the wheels were all bad, you could put a couple holes in this and here's your box. Yeah. So this could be a container right there.
Right on, thank you.
So we'll talk about building first. This wood here is bought or purchased at Home Depot. This is the least expensive wood that they have, and pretty much most of our yard is built out of this. I use this because, of course, it's inexpensive, it's easy to put together, and it lasts pretty long. So far, 4 or 5 years. It hasn't started to separate. One of the things about building a wood box is that you will have the elements play a role. So it will contract and expand with the dry and the wet weather.
What's the name of that wood?
This wood, I believe, is
fir.
It is probably a fir.
Fir?
Yeah. This, I don't even look. I just get the cheapest one, but usually it goes from fir, which is like the least expensive, to redwood. Some people use teak. Teak is a classic wood that would last for generations. And there's things also like cedar. I believe, no, cedar is a softwood. Millie, what other woods do we use?
Cedar, redwood.
Redwood,
What is this?
Pine.
That most likely is something like this that's been treated with a paint.
Okay.
So yes, you can.
Well,
no, this is the raw wood itself.
do you want it?
You could treat it. Sometimes if you're worried about the paint, most paints are water-based now, but some people don't want to use it. One of the great things to treat your wood with is something like oil, like orange oil. Orange oil also repels bugs, like ants and cockroaches and stuff. They don't like orange oil. So you can treat it, and it's totally non-toxic to your plants.
These are made out of Douglas fir.
Douglas fir.
And they have a paint so that it doesn't, the water doesn't affect it as much.
Okay, so some of the basic pieces are, of course, 4x4 post, and then you also have your 2x6. Supposed to be 2 inches this way, 6 inches this way. I guess we give up a ½ inch to the government, so it's only really 1.5 by 5.5, but it still serves the same purpose. These boxes, as you see right here, don't have any posts. What they probably have is something like this that will allow you to forgo the post, and you can attach 2 pieces directly to each other like this with screws or with bolts, because the great thing with bolts, and you have the bolts on both, well, you have the bolts, what's going to happen is as the wood contracts and expands, the bolt's going to kind of give with it. Screws sometimes will pop out, so this whole piece of wood could pop out eventually, and then I have to go and fix it. I usually just go and fix it rather than do it as good as something like these here. But these are probably meant to last for a long, long time. So basic tools you'll need are a screwdriver. You'll need some sort of a cutting device. I have a miter saw, which if you build anything you have to have, which is blade just comes down.
They can cut it at Home Depot for you.
They can, sometimes. Sometimes their saws are broken. Most of the time their saws are broken.
They charge you too.
Yeah, they do charge you. But I don't even know if somebody has something on Craigslist, like I'll cut your wood for you. I'm sure they would. If I had a saw and I needed a job, I'd do it. But you want to go ahead and, like Millie said, you want to plan. You want to plan what size you want your box. And you could go ahead and get taller wood or wider wood. This is, like I said, this is a 2x6. These are 2x8. So you can see there's a difference. You can go all the way up to 10, 12. I think there's 14. No, there's 16, but that's pretty much a specialty piece of wood. They're using 4x6s in these boxes. So just a couple inches taller than this. So yeah, you could even do a handsaw if you want to get a workout.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's how they built this country once upon a time. It's pretty interesting. So you can go ahead and measure, or you can go ahead and plan your garden or your box. You can go ahead and cut the pieces to the size you want, and then you can go ahead and put it together. So I'm showing this example here. If I wanted my box not to go anywhere, I would dig a hole, a post, like that, and I would bury it as far as I wanted to, and then the box would not move at all. Some people build low boxes. Some people build boxes waist level. It all depends on what you want to do. So, in other classes, they actually got to watch me build and make mistakes. I'm not going to let you see me do that. But I'm just going to show you the easy. I just have a post here, piece of wood, and I just attach 2 screws here and 2 screws there. And lay it flat. You got yourself a box. Why do we use boxes? Why do we want to know about how to build a box? Why don't we just plant in the ground? Sometimes we have soil in the ground that might not be the best soil to plant in. Could be contaminated. Tough soil. We have bad soil in our yard.
Yeah. Where do you guys live?
We live in Glasgow Park, and we're basically on a hill, and it's all sandstone. So you dig about this far, and you just hit rock. So we built up quite a bit.
Is
Growing
that
up in
deep
the
enough?
It could be deep enough depending on the vegetables you're
Sure.
growing.
So for somebody who wants to grow spinach in a salad, and maybe even onions or green onions, this would be great. If you want to grow tomatoes, you want to be able to make a bigger box. What we've done is we started our boxes about this size, and then as the year goes, or the years go, we raised it by putting another piece of wood. So one of the things that we've been realizing is that with a box, or even with, I guess, the soil in general, it starts to decompose. Sinks, you have organic matter, the organic matter disappears. So in order to be able to get deeper, we'll build up another level. Plus, our path gets higher, everything gets higher. We're
Growing up in the world.
yeah, we're out here. We've thrown a lot of stuff on top of our ground and raised it up. So basically, that's the idea of building a wood box. Certain things, other reasons why we build boxes is to protect from gophers, groundhogs, whatever might dig from underneath and get our roots. So you can take something like this, which is called hardware cloth, even though it's not a cloth at all. It's metal.
It's like a mesh.
What's that?
It's like a mesh.
It is a mesh. And you use these snips, and you would cut the size that you want. In fact, I'll pass it around so everybody can see. You cut the size that you want. Don't be in a rush. It's going to take a while. And then you put it on the bottom, and then that stops any animals from climbing up. I've had experiences where I've put some of the box into the ground. That works, but you will see deterioration in the wood maybe 3-4 years. It'll start to decompose. So if you want something that won't decompose, Then talk about how to make stuff with other boxes, like cement or rocks. You can put those down inside. And then you can put the metal or the hardware cloth at the bottom. You kind of have your rocks holding it, so that way if you have something like tomatoes that are deeper, that gives even more room that the underground creatures can't come up. So some of the cool things to do with a box. You get a couple of these, and you throw them in the angle or on the side like this.
What else is the name? What else the name of these guys?
This is a doohickey. I don't know. It is a pipe holder.
Pipe strap.
Yeah, pipe strap. That's even better. Thank you. That probably is the official word.
Okay.
But you could always go to Home Depot and say, I need one of those doohickeys. And at least point you to the right aisle. So you put a couple of these onto the wood, and then you can take some of this PVC pipe. And I have two different sizes PVC pipe. I think this is an inch, and this is a half an inch. So the idea is, if I was going to be constructing this box and it was going to last for a while, and I was going to fill it all the way up to the top with dirt, I would go ahead and put these in, put the straps on, as such. So this would be a permanent thing. So throughout the season, I could do a lot of different things with this box. I could come and bring this half-inch pole, and I could put it in here.
Oh, that's cool.
And if I have one on each side, I have an instant cover to cover, so shade cloth, a place where I could harden off my transplants. Or if this is salad, you could put that over during the day and it won't get burnt. You could also do cool things. I think I brought a shorter one, but this stuff is flexible, so you could actually put it in and you could bend it. So you have two arches. And then you can put plastic over it. In the wintertime, it becomes the greenhouse. And then you could always take the wood apart, if the screws allow you to. You could always take the wood apart, and you can move it in or rebuild it. So half of our garden in the beginning was built out of recycled wood. The place where we had it, the owner had a lot of extra wood, so a lot of our boxes were built with spare wood.
How much does a box like that cost?
$12 maybe? $10? This right here is 2 by 3. So 24 by 36 inches, and it's 5.5, should be 7.5 inches tall. 3 by 2, and it's 7.5 inches tall. So you can get a 6-foot 4x4. It probably runs you about $250, and then you can get. So let's see, that's 3, 6, and then 10. So you can either get a 10-foot board and get that cut up, and a 10-foot board is probably about $4, so maybe $10 with the screws. If you need some screws, I can loan you some. Got a lot, get a big box. And yeah, that's one of the conveniences of having the wood box. We talked about brackets, we talked about the straps, and yeah, that's as easy as it is. Oh, yes. This right here is weed block, something that you might want to also put at the bottom. So that will stop anything from invasive vines. I don't know if it'll stop bamboo, but it might distract it enough to make it go someplace else. But so I'll pass this around too. You can feel it.
So is it one or the other or both?
You can do both.
And you start out with a metal mesh and then that?
Yeah, because that will stop the stuff that can still get through the mesh. But the gophers and groundhogs and ground squirrels, they won't be able to dig up underneath. And then,
can you put a box like that on like cement or concrete?
yes. One of the things that you can do if you don't want to ruin the cement or concrete is you can get a solid piece of wood. They come in 10, 8 inches wide. Sometimes you can find a whole piece if you have a small enough box, which is a wood that's maybe